This is the WinBeta podcast for the week of May 29th, 2015. I'm Zach Bowden and I'm joined with Sean Michael, and this week we're going to be talking about the Microsoft news that happened, as per usual. So this week we have a number of different stories, starting off with Windows 10. Nothing different there. We have a bunch of Windows 10 news this week. We have the Windows 10 is finally taking the Windows Store seriously, which is good news, definitely. We have a bunch of Windows 10 build 10,125 stuff to talk about, as well as icons in build 10,125. They all got updated, and we're going to talk about them as well. And to finish off the Windows 10 stuff, we will talk about the Windows 10 feedback. And guess what? Insiders want tabs in the File Explorer, which is interesting to say the least, because I've seen two sides to this story in which everybody wants it, and then on the other side nobody wants it. So we will see how that plays off. And then after the Windows 10 stuff, we have a bunch of different other Microsoft generic stuff. So we have a new third-party Surface Pro 3 keyboard. Really interesting. I think one of the first third-party keyboards for the Surface. We'll be talking about that, as well as Cortana on Android and iOS, probably the biggest news of the week. Also, the Microsoft Band 2, which is apparently far into its development stages and is going to be launching soon. And then
could be next month, yeah.
Could be next month, which is a really silly thing, because guess what? The Microsoft Band came out literally last month in
England.
Yeah. It's terrible. And then we'll finish off with a big rumor roundup about the upcoming Windows 10 phone flagships from Microsoft. So a jam-packed week of podcasting, of news in the podcast this week, and I guess we should just dive straight in with the Windows 10 stuff.
Yeah, so starting up is the keyboard, yeah? Things first.
Windows 10 stuff, it's the Windows Store.
Sorry. It's the Windows Store. Sorry, wrong order.
So the Windows Store, Microsoft, if you've used the Windows Store in Windows 8, it's abysmal. It's really bad. I mean, it's better today, but if you were one of the... Yeah, I say it's still terrible, but it's better than it used to be. The Windows 8 Store is outrageous. It's terrible. If you search for an app, you will probably find 50 other duplicate apps before you find the actual app you're looking for.
Oh, it's worse than that. For me, at least, when I search apps, it doesn't even show up what I want. Sometimes I will verbatim search what I'm looking for, and it still won't show up. And then the same 5 phantom apps show up. There's this crossword search thing and some other stuff, and not the app I want. So even if I typed in I don't know what apps I use. Even if I typed in Tweetium, that might not even show up. It might be 4 other apps, not Tweetium, and then a bunch of unrelated junk. Yeah. I mean, it's awful. I mean,
it really is bad.
I'm so glad that they're changing it.
Good news, though, in Windows 10, they're fixing it, or so they say.
Yeah. So we have an article this week outlining some of the major changes that they're trying to do. First things first is they'll be enforcing a more robust approach to 10.1 app certification. So it says Policy 10.1 has been designed to improve Windows Store experience for both developers and customers. So as developers, you increase the possibility of success if you follow these practices when developing and publishing apps that are unique and that add value. So there are a lot of great apps in Windows. I think there's less on the Windows 8 store than Windows Phone, but there are useful apps, and they're pretty hard to find sometimes. And so they have a few steps that they're trying to do to make that much better. One of the major steps is they're trying to eliminate clutter by forcing differentiation in icons. So the article has a much better visual representation, but you might have, the example here is 4 icons that look the same, and they just say news, business, or reports, but then the icon's same color, same logo, everything, even though they're vastly different apps. Differentiated icons would have different logos, different color scheme, and you wouldn't easily confuse them, which I think is a big plus. Even that, which we'll get into this in a little bit, but even having differentiated icons, I think helps people not download things that they don't want. Because I think everybody has looked at an app once and then either realized before or after downloading, this isn't what I really want. This is nothing to do with it. Next up is ensuring apps are appropriately priced. It says Microsoft will lean heavily on Windows Store code of conduct to address apps to utilize irregular or unfair pricing. Maybe I read that wrong. To fix, obviously, that issue. Yeah, so you don't want to get fleeced for apps, especially apps that don't provide what you actually want. If it's not really that valuable, you shouldn't be paying for it. Distinguishing between informational apps is another really big thing. And I think this is a huge one because people really don't like it. You'll look for like a game, and there are a lot of games that aren't on Windows 8. And so maybe you look for it not knowing it's not there, and you see it'll say the title of your game with a logo that looks like your game, and you say, oh, great. And people will click it, download it. Maybe it'll even cost money. And then you find out it's a tutorial, which to me is kind of silly to have as an app anyway. So they're trying to stop that. So if it's a guide, they're going to try to make sure that it says user guide or information guide or tutorial or guide or something like that. Ensuring relevant app titles and keywords. So when you search stuff, you actually find things that are related. You know, if you search Twitter apps should show up. It shouldn't be word searches and crossword puzzles or whatever. It should be Twitter.
Yeah,
and I mean,
and I think this is the biggest problem with the current Windows Store is that you search for an app and the first result should always be the app you search for. But nope, if in the Windows 8 Store for frequently, I think they've finally fixed it. But before, if I searched for Twitter would be 5th or 6th in the list, and I'd get 5 other third-party terrible apps, and it's terrible.
Yeah, well, and the fact that I'm even reading this is kind of sad, to be honest. You're like, oh, they're going to make sure people don't steal your money and lie to you about what their app is, and we're going to try to make people price things fairly. It's kind of like, oh, that sounds like something you should have done when you first made the store, but I'm better late than never. Let me test here. I'll type in Twitter. Now, here's the thing. The suggested thing is a little better. So if I type Twitter, the little scroll like down, that'll show up, and the Twitter official app actually is suggested. But then if I hit enter, I have a bunch of Twitter-related things. That one's SD Beyonce, because that's related. SD, I don't even know what some of these are, to be fair. Glee, you know Glee, that's Twitter.
Yeah.
Word Waffle, Justin Bieber stuff. I still haven't found the fitter. Oh, that one doesn't even look. Oh, it doesn't even look family friendly. Yeah, I'm still going through meme generator. There is nothing related. I can't even see the official Twitter app. Not even here. And there's a bunch of things not related that probably use the word Twitter but aren't Twitter.
Yeah,
nope.
It's really
still
bad.
Not here. What do you think? Out of those changes I listed, no? That was it. What do you think the biggest one will be? So they got icon differentiating, guide differentiating, pricing, and keywords. Do you think keywords is probably the biggest?
Yeah, I think so. As long getting the app you want first in the list is probably the top priority. I'm not too sure on the icon differentiation because I've not really seen that as an issue in the Windows Store. Because I mean, a third-party app looks like a third-party app. I mean, you can't get it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably more. I mean, like if you type Clash of Clans, which that isn't on Windows as far as I know, right? Someone might have like a Clash of Clans guide, and they'll make the icon look just like Clash of Clans, but it won't be the game.
Let's see.
And so I think that sort of thing that's the bigger ones. They don't want people to get fleeced out of their money.
Surprisingly, if you actually search for Clash of Clans in the Windows Store, you actually get a list of games that aren't Clash of Clans because it's not on Windows Store, but you actually get similar games, which is actually not too bad. So
yeah, like I did that on the Windows Phone.
They've definitely improved upon the Windows Store.
You get different results than me. Are you running a different store?
Maybe. No. No, what results do you get? I get Rule the Kingdom, Royal Revolt 2, The Kingdom and Lords, Total Conquest, Rival
Different
Knights.
For me, but I don't know.
Did you get Twitter?
No, I didn't get Twitter. That would be funny.
But yeah,
so they're related. It's like, it's almost like, oh, well, we don't have that game, but we got these other ones.
Yeah, which is a good thing, because if the app isn't there, you want a similar app, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that you'd want the highest rated third-party or similar equivalent when an app isn't there, and hopefully they'll get to that point. Some of the comments point out that like the Android store doesn't have great search. I've never used an Android device, so I can't say if it does or not, but that's what they said in the comments. So maybe this is more complicated than I think. I don't know.
As long as it's as simple as what it's like on iOS, I think I'll be happy.
Yeah, it should be easy to find out.
Because on iOS, you just search for an app and it's there. You just tap on it and it downloads and you've got it.
Yeah. You know what I do to find apps on Windows?
But
I just look it up on a search engine. I just type it and then say Windows app, and then it always links to the first page. Like it's almost always the first one.
I never use, and I don't even really use it on here. I downloaded like 2 apps on the Surface 3 I have, but on my desktops and laptops, don't even use the Windows Store. I hope to use it more with Windows 10 because it's more desktop focused, and there'll be Windows 32 apps in there as well. But until then, it's just no use to me really.
Yeah, I think it depends on your use.
I mean, the only good Metro app I use is RedHub, which is a Reddit third-party Reddit client for Windows Phone. It's one of the best apps I've actually ever used on a Windows Phone, and I love it.
Really?
It's really, really nice. It's like
You
the
mean
UI.
Windows?
Windows 8. Yes, it's really, really nice. It's built well. It has both port orientations and stuff, so it works much like you expect an actual good app to work. And I really do like it. I use it every day.
Looks like a similar layout to Next Gen Reader.
Yeah, and if every app was built like this, I'm pretty sure I would use the Windows Store a lot more.
Yeah, well, Next Gen Reader
I
is built
downloaded an
similar,
app once which had like 2D graphics, and it was like the worst thing in the world. And I was like, why is this on here? Why is this here? How did this get on the Windows Store? But at that point, you've got to remember Microsoft were just accepting anything because they wanted a higher app count. Like
I think they should have just been jerks about accepting it, but I agree that they did it just for the higher app count. But now I think they should be like, okay, we want good apps. As the article said, flashlight app developers beware. Microsoft is trying to eliminate repetitive or non-adding apps. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, almost died there. That's probably enough about apps, yeah?
Yeah, we should probably move on.
Got jump lists. That's a thing.
A leaked build, because everybody loves leaked builds. Build 10,000...
You do.
Well, everybody listening does. Everybody listening loves builds.
That's true.
Build 10,125 leaked last week, I think it was. And, or maybe earlier this week. Well, either way, it leaked. And it included a lot of changes. Well, I say a lot. Not new features, but more tweaks and enhancements to the UI. Like,
this build has a number of enhancements and tweaks higher than the previous build.
Yes, okay. But this build, I mean, build 10,122 was released, and it still looks like the same as build 10,074, really. There's maybe a few adjustments, but nothing really major. But 2 builds later, and they've done a bunch of different UI adjustments, and it just makes it a pleasure to use, a lot better, and other stuff. So they've built, in build 10,125, there's improvements to the jump lists when you right-click on the taskbar. A number of different improvements to the notification center. It's now transparent and blurry, as is the Wi-Fi or the internet icon thing. Also, around the notification, this is something many people notice straight away. When you click on the notification center in build 10,122, there's this annoying white outline which looks terrible. In build 10,125, it's gone, and it looks a lot more seamless and really nice. The start menu, I think, had a few more updates. And there was also new icons, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So yeah, build 10,125, it kind of makes you wonder why they didn't release that build instead. Just give it a couple more days of testing and then release that, because I know there is a bug in it which causes some of the modern apps to open in a corner of the screen instead of opening where they last saved, which is, I mean, it's not really a showstopper bug, but it did annoy some people. And apparently a workaround for that is to pin the app you want to open on the taskbar, and it opens where it last was. So that's a workaround, I guess. And I'm sure that could be fixed in a patch, because they released patches for 10,122. They've released like 7 or 8 now. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense why they released 122 and not 125.
Well, and that means obviously they have lots of builds that they don't release, but this one's a little more odd. I agree that it didn't seem like it was that much more advanced, but it had different features. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know their thought process. They don't crank them out like we kind of want, or certainly not like you want.
No, they do a bunch of different testing. It goes through a number of different groups, and if it passes all those groups with little issue, then it gets pushed to the fast ring, then the slow ring. So that's how that works. And the majority of the builds never reach the Microsoft group. So there you go. How many builds of Windows 10 have we had now as insiders?
Oof, officially?
Yes.
I mean, you have so many leaks. I don't even keep track of what's official and what's not.
No, the official ones, I think I can remember off the top of my head. I think we've had 9841, which was the first release, 9860, which was the second, 9879, 9926. 10,041, that's 5. 10,049, 6. 61, 7, 74, 8. So we've had less than 10 builds throughout the last however many months since.
And only
which is
two.
Let's be fair, which is a lot more than the Windows 8 development cycle, in which we only had 3 at most, I think. So the developer preview, the beta, and the RC. Yeah, we only had 3 for Windows 8 and 1 for Windows 8.1. So 9 is a lot more, but I kind of feel like there could have been more builds for the inside. That is
9 is greater than 3.
9 is greater than 3. I mean,
hey, you joke, but there's a commercial right now in the air that is like 6 is greater than 1, and then it has like a graph to show you that 6 is more than 1, and you're like, oh, 6 is more than 1. It's got the little alligator mouth.
I had no idea.
I know. So 9 builds greater than 3. Yeah, it's more. It's not what you want, but it's certainly better. You get all the builds anyway.
I want every build. I want every build from every development branch.
You want 22, 23, 24, and
I want 22.2.
Exactly.
If that's, I want recompiles of old builds. That's what I.
Anyway, jump lists were in that build, yeah.
Yeah, jump lists, they got updated, and
is that a big thing? I don't know what they are.
No, they're not really big. They're not.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a nice UI change, but they've been there since Windows 7. So
if Sargon if he's listening, jump lists, they're coming around.
Yeah, Sargon loves jump lists.
So there you go.
Icons are updated in build 10,120.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and now see, I'm getting the order right now. Said I messed up before. Icons, they receive a major overhaul. As always, I am amazed at this. Let's see, what did this say? 464 comments, not to mention thousands and thousands of views just on our article on the actual icons. I'm sure everyone else covered this too. They're new. They are sleek, trim. They look relatively modern. I agree that they look different than the old icons. I'm still a bit confused why floppy disks are used in icons for drives. I think that should probably change. DVD drive has a nice crisp-looking DVD. The drive's all kind of rectangular prism, good shading, little light that shows that it's on, very crisp. So I think, Zach, are you showing the icons now? I can't share my screen.
Try to, but
okay. Well, I'll talk about them while you do that.
Shouldn't be opening.
In all reality, I'll say, I don't know if I said this on a previous podcast. I purchased a software that had a really old user interface and just looked like it was from like Windows like 98, and I hated it and just couldn't use it. It was just unusable because it was so bad. It wasn't like one icon. It was the whole interface was poor, and the whole thing looked bad. This, some people got really passionate about. I wasn't as passionate, but now that I see these new ones, I can see why they like them more. They are a lot better. What do you think of them?
I like them. They're they're kind of a mix between Windows 7 and Windows 8, which is it's not a bad thing. I know many people are saying, oh, they look too much like Windows 7, we can't have these. Tell you what, I'm taking these ones over the ones we had in build 10,122, which are god awful. So,
like, look at this Word one. Like the one with it looks really nice. Like the Word icon specifically, or documents, I guess. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in on it. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what they look like. They do look nice.
They're fairly nice?
Fairly nice. They look,
even
like
Ron's saying
I don't know. I mean, many people have been telling me that they're not... what's the word they use? Symmetrical, I think? No, not symmetrical. They're shaped differently. I can actually find it, hopefully, if I go to my Twitter. You can see this here live on the podcast.
Zach's live Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, ho, ho.
Look, here. Let's see. So look, here's a very detailed example of why they're terrible. Simplistic, detailed, angle icons to the right, angled icons to the left. So they're not like, I guess, synergized, or what's the word? I can't remember what word I'm looking for. But
I guess you're right. If I look now, they are not quite aligned the same.
Yeah. So the hard drive icons have the icons to the right, or that one has the icon. The floppy disk drive has the icon to the right. The local disk one has it to the left, and the DVD drive has it to the right. All the folders have it to the right. Apparently the lines don't add up or something. There's also flat-looking icons. Tell me where the consistency is with this icon set. It's a chaotic mess.
Oh, no!
So yeah, I mean, I like them. I mean, I would never notice those issues if someone didn't point them out to me. But they apparently are issues, and whether Microsoft fix them or not is another story. I don't think they will.
Why not go fix them? Who cares? Like they can't be that hard to move like a little bit. Right? I mean, that can't be hard.
Well, I mean, it took them how many months to change the icons from 10,122? Many.
I guess you're right. Whatever. So icons, their thing. We could come out with any news. It could be like Windows 10. It's here today with new icons. And then people be like, oh, icons? Let's go look at icons.
Or maybe I think they'd win even more if they didn't even have icons in Windows 10. Windows 10 now with no icons.
Now with only start menu tiles.
Yeah.
It's just like
they'd hate that as desktop users.
What if they had like desktop icons were like the Microsoft band equivalent of live tiles? That's it. There's no icons anymore.
Or just text.
Yeah,
exactly. We should just go back to MS-DOS. It's just lines of code or lines of text.
Whatever.
Then people would be happy.
Yeah, it looks better. Apparently, it doesn't look perfect.
They're on the right track. I like them. I'd be happy with them in the RTM.
Hopefully, Microsoft sees that guy's very, very detailed chart and makes a few changes, because they can't be that hard to change once you see that it's a problem.
No.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Icons. What's up next?
Guess what Windows Insiders want?
Well, I know what they want, Zach, but I'm going to act surprised when you say it.
Tabs in File Explorer.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. That's what they want.
Okay.
This is something that's been wanted since Windows 2. No, since like Windows XP, Windows Vista. I've heard this for many years now. People want tabs in the File Explorer, and I kind of can't see why. I mean, I'm not even that big of a tabs user on web browsers. I have at most 3 tabs open at any given time. I know that there's people out there who have 500,000 tabs open in Chrome, and then they complain about Chrome eating all your hardware. But I'm not very big on tabs, so I can't really see where people are coming from with this. When I'm using a File Explorer, I like to have 2 windows open. If I'm dragging and dropping, I like to have 2 windows open. I like to see everything in both windows at the same time, so I know what's being replaced, what isn't, and other stuff. Right. I guess this is for those who just want to throw things everywhere, so you can just drag up to the tab and drop it, and it can just go in there. I don't think this is coming in the Windows 10 RTM. I think unless they've been working on this secretly for the last 7 months and it hasn't been seen outside of any of the internal development branches, I can't see this happening before July, which is when Windows 10 is supposed to RTM. So
I mean, this is another one of these things that for me personally doesn't seem like it'd make a huge difference, but I also don't think it's that complicated. So if they want to throw it in there, that's cool. Yeah, like that's the thing to me. How long could it take? Like I mean, there are other priorities. Like first they have to get the features done, and then they have to get stability done. But like, what would be wrong with like, oh, okay, somebody spend a day or two putting some tabs in the code,
just a day or two. A day or two.
I don't know.
There you go. A day or two to put tabs in File Explorer, everybody.
Maybe longer than that. I don't know. Is it that comprehensive to do?
I would imagine it'd take a large team of people to do that, because the File Explorer is a very old piece of code in Windows, which has been around for many years.
Well, but maybe that's a reason to change it anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, what I was going to say, which I completely forgot now, it would be more a power user tool than a consumer tool.
Yeah, which they're going to prioritize later because they're gonna do consumer stuff first.
Yeah.
Huh, something showed up on my screen. There you go. Microsoft, are you listening?
No, that was me. I was muting the mic. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
All right. I'm sorry if I underestimated.
No, it's fine. That was
how long it. Hey, for all I know, it could take 7 years. Like I don't know. It could come out in Windows 10.
I mean, it used to take 3 years to build a new version of Windows.
Yeah, that's true.
Now it takes 9 months.
Apparently, yeah. Well, did they really only start?
No,
it's got to be a while.
They were working on Windows 10 way before April 2014.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then some of the features they'd been working on before anyway.
Although the start menu, I mean, the first time I heard about the start menu was in February 2014. And the start menu was a working thing back then, I believe. But I think that's back when... I can't remember off the top of my head. That was back when it was slated as an update for Windows 8.1. So there would be an update for Windows 8.1 with the start menu.
You know, it's a surreal experience for me as like someone who admits very little technical stuff.
Well,
is I know for a fact that this stuff is tremendously complicated. But like when you look at like oh, look, we changed this to that. It's like, oh, that took a year? I understand it does, and I understand why, because it's a ton of coding. But it's just like amazing when they're like, we added this start menu. And it's like, we already had start menus. Yeah, but to integrate it with everything else is a really big project. And I think that's why you see, you know, February, you hear the start menu over a year ago, and then now we're just starting to get everything in it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, back to what I was actually mentioning. Well, yeah, so it was February, early in 2014 when I heard about the working start menu. And then at Build 2014, they showed off the start menu and the windowed apps. To my understanding, the Windows apps were not actually working back then. That was just a concept. The start menu was working, that actually worked and stuff, but the windowed apps didn't, and they weren't a thing that were working until a while later, a couple of months at least. And then obviously in September they finally announced Windows 10, and that they didn't announce this really. They sort of announced it when they announced Update 2, in the sense that they lied to the public and said. Contrary to popular belief and all the rumors you've heard, there is not, Windows Update 2 doesn't exist. They actually said Update 2 doesn't exist, which it completely did exist, and it was supposed to include the start menu.
Surface Mini didn't exist either, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So they pulled the start menu out of the update and threw it into the Windows 10 branches, and then just built from there. And then in September, the public finally saw Windows 10 for the first time, which is great. So technically less than a year for the public with the start menu, but way over a year for the start menu for internals, I guess.
Well, and then it took a long time to actually make it really work. They're still adding features to the start menu.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they completely changed the start menu with earlier in the year. It was built with DirectUI in 2014. 2015, XAML, I think it is, or XML. XAML, yeah. So completely different code now. And if you use build 9926, the start menu was awful. It really was bad.
Believe it or not, it's not just like Word where you can just select the thing and then like find like tools, convert to XAML.
That's done. There you go.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen.
No.
If it did, things would be a lot easier.
No. But yeah, that's a brief history of the start menu in the most recent version of Windows and updates and stuff. I do wonder what would have happened if they put the start menu in an update for Windows 8.1.
I like that it's new with Windows 10.
Yeah, because it conveys more to upgrade.
Yeah,
but I mean,
and it also provides. Sorry, go ahead.
What?
Sorry, I thought you said. I just think also when you have to put these things together, because if you had like, did I lag?
You are lagging. Yes. You have a very great face on right now in the pause.
That does not look like a very good face. I think I'm back now. Anyway, so yes, I think that they need to put Windows 10 start menu in Windows 10, because if they put it with Windows 8,
it's a good selling point for Windows.
One change there, and then if it wasn't what people wanted, then they'd be like, why would I go to 10? You added the start menu that I don't like. So yeah. I'm glad.
Although the start menu in Windows 8.1, sorry, not the start menu in Windows 8.1, the start menu before 9926, everybody thinks is the best start menu in the world, because it was very similar to the start screen, in the sense that the tiles were very similar stuff. But they've all changed that now and other stuff, and there's no going back. So, oh well.
We'll see. Yeah, there you go. Huh. Ooh, that's a lot of Windows 10. Are you tired yet?
I'm going to sleep. Bye.
We have some non-Windows 10 stuff. That make you feel better?
Yes, it would.
Okay. I have a keyboard. I don't have a keyboard. I might have it. We've seen pictures of a keyboard. Let's talk about that. You have a Surface 3.
I do.
You like that keyboard? You didn't get a keyboard with it.
No, I didn't. I got a pen.
Is part of that because they're so expensive?
No, because I didn't want to not use my Dell. I could have totally had the keyboard. I just purposely didn't get the keyboard because I didn't want to start using the Surface 3 over my Dell, because I spent a lot of money on the Dell and I kind of want to get the most use out of it, I guess. So I'm using the Surface as a tablet only, really, or with a pen as well every now and then. Although when I have the pen, because I've lost it again. So.
But by segue, anyway, fine. Zach doesn't want a keyboard, but lots of people do.
Oh, did you have another segue, really?
I understand that a tablet only, that makes sense. But for people who do want to use Surface devices as kind of a laptop full kind of thing, the Surface Pro 3 has a third-party keyboard in the works. There's some great photos that were sent. They're from the actual makers of the keyboard. It looks a lot like the Surface Pro 3. Again, this for the Pro 3, not the regular 3. Pro 3 keyboard. I'd almost say it looks a little more. I don't know if this is the right adjective. Candy. It almost looks a little more like little piece of candy almost. Like the color's a lot brighter. Keys almost look a little rounder, even though they're not. Maybe they are. It's a little more candy to me. That's what I would describe it as. But it does look nice. And the biggest thing is that it would be half the price of a Surface Pro 3 built-in keyboard. The only thing we don't really know is if it does that cool little magnet thing, which when you did your review of the Surface Pro 3, you said it was like life-changing, right?
Yeah, it really does change the way you're able to type on your lap and stuff.
We don't really know if it does that from the photos. It doesn't seem it doesn't really clarify if it does that or not. But the idea of a third-party keyboard is nice because this is really like the first third-party accessory that we've seen for the Surface line, right? I haven't seen third-party keyboards before.
This is the first third-party keyboard.
And so that creates some price competition. Some people will prefer maybe someone will make a gaming-based keyboard. Someone will make some other emphasized keyboard. And so you'll see that over time. This looks really nice. If it can do the magnet thing, I could see a lot of people getting this instead of the full-priced one, couldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, so let's say they have a quote. It says, "As a Surface Pro 3 and the owner of Editor Keys, I thought we might be able to make a low-cost keyboard which may appeal to students or anyone who wants a spaced-out keyboard for the Surface Pro 3." That's by Mark Brown, the owner of Editor Keys.
I tell you what, a good question is whether it would work on the Surface 3. Now, I know it wouldn't be the right size. It'd be a bit big, but like with the Surface 2 and RT keyboard covers, you can actually use them on the Surface 3 and Surface Pro. So I wonder if this would work on the Surface 3.
Well, does the Surface 2 keyboard work on the Surface Pro 3?
Yes.
I think it does. Yes. So it sounds to me like they have a pretty unified connecting setup. So I
know the power one doesn't work on the standard one. I think it was on the Surface 2, but not the Surface.
Well, does it work for typing but not for charging, or does it not work at all?
I'm not sure. I don't have one to test. I believe it works for typing, not charging.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, it doesn't charge, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
That's that whole. When the Surface original came out, the power was a really big issue. So when the Surface Pro 2 and the Surface 2 came out, it was all about powers. We have a power keyboard. They came out with a power car charger, so you could charge your laptop from your socket in your car. They had all this stuff based on power consumption, charging it, and all that stuff. And then now, I guess they've kind of made it pretty good battery life without that stuff.
Yeah.
So then now it doesn't work with the power stuff. The power keyboard was big. I mean, the power keyboard was almost as big as the Surface itself.
I'm just showing them what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Do you agree? I think candy's the right word for those keys. They're kind of round and they pop out and they look nice.
They look nice.
Yeah.
It does look like a nice keyboard. I mean, it's got an actual click. It's got clicky buttons for the trackpad, which is something
instead of
complain about.
Oh yeah, my trackpad doesn't have clicky buttons.
No, people hate the trackpad on the Surface covers.
Not a big fan of the trackpad. It is kind of irritating.
On the Surface 3 line, on the Surface Pro 3, it does improve, but it's still not great.
I want clicky buttons. Is that so hard?
Apparently not.
Ooh, look at that. Let's look at some. They have a little nub. Look in the lower left-hand corner. Or right-hand corner in that photo. They have a little nub that makes it so your screen doesn't press directly against the keys. When it's shut. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I like it. Everyone should go look at this. I'm not saying buy it. I don't even know if it's good. It's not even out yet. But at least look at the photos. It looks nice. I like that photo button there. That's really cool. That's nice. Yeah. Looks like a nice keyboard. So there's that. More third-party developers should make Surface stuff. They're very popular.
They are, and they're becoming more popular as well. So people, OEMs, etc., start making keyboards for Surface.
Hey, and you know what? Microsoft's probably not going to make a clamshell laptop style dock, but what's to say somebody else can? Editor Keys, get working on that. Go make one of those. That'd be great.
Turn the Surface into a laptop.
That's what some people want. I don't think Microsoft's going to do it, but what's to stop a third party from doing it? Who cares? Whatever, as long as it works. Put a battery in there, maybe a GPU, whatever.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, it should happen.
Yeah,
Could
third party. It's great. It's called capitalism, yeah?
happen.
Anyway, so we got a third party keyboard. That's a thing. Yeah, I don't think there's any other news this week, is there? There's certainly
No, nothing about Cortana coming to the enemies of Windows Phone, no. Oh, wait, yes, there is. Guess what, guys?
Yeah.
Cortana's coming to iPhone and Android, iOS and Android. So, your worst enemies will now be able to experience Cortana much like you can on Windows Phone. And I've seen a huge uproar about this. Many Windows, I mean, rightly so, I guess. Windows users are very upset about Cortana coming to. I say Windows users. Windows Phone users are very upset about this news. It's a good thing in the long run, and I know this
As
is.
Martha Stewart would say, it's a good thing.
Once the red settles from the many Windows Phone lovers, you will see that as well, because if you look at Windows 10, I've actually written an entire article about this, which I haven't actually published yet. I'm planning to do it sometime in the future. But
right after that Lumia 435 review. Pretty
much what I said in it is it's for Windows 10. If you've noticed, Windows 10 is pretty much on the taskbar when you launch Windows 10 for the first time. There's this big chunk of the taskbar taken up by Cortana. Cortana is very essential to Windows 10. It's at the core, I guess. It's used for search. When you type in the start menu, you use Cortana to search. And when you set your Windows 10 PC up for the first time, Cortana is there asking if you want to enable her. So, for Cortana's kind of one of Cortana's biggest features and kind of the reason why she exists is so she can be your personal assistant and help you everywhere. So she's not very useful. She can only help you at your desk and not out in the street. And if you think about the amount of people who will be using Windows 10, the majority of them will not be Windows Phone users. All of my friends are Windows users. None of them own a Windows Phone. They have an iPhone, an Android device, whatever. So for them to actually utilize all of the functions in Windows 10 and give them more of a reason to upgrade, they kind of need Cortana on their devices. So this isn't Microsoft saying, oh, we don't even care about Windows 10 Mobile. That's not what they're saying. Windows 10 Mobile is a better choice for Windows users for an entirely different reason. Cortana was never in the first place selling Windows devices. Ever since Cortana came out, Windows Phone hasn't skyrocketed in market share. It's flatlined, really. It's not going up and it's not going down. So nothing's really changed there. So for people who are expecting people who are upset about Cortana going to other platforms, you need to kind of think about what the damage would be if it didn't. Because I think Windows 10 wouldn't take off as much if it wasn't going to rival platforms.
Yeah, I agree with just about everything you said. I guess I'll try to talk from the other side to give them some.
Yeah.
I understand.
Sean hates everyone. Come on, Sean.
I don't hate everyone.
Give us the bad. Give us the bad side.
No, I'll say this. I agree with you. I think it's going to help, and I think the biggest thing is exactly what you said. The idea that, so who's going to use Cortana over Google Now or Siri? And I think that would be a viable question just in general. But like you said, if it's on my PC and it follows me on my phone, regardless of what type of phone I have, I actually think people will look into it, especially for like calendaring and alerts. The idea that you could say, book a reminder on your computer, say I have lunch with so-and-so, and then it automatically shows up in Cortana on your phone, and then when you walk by a store, it tells you to pick up something for a dinner, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's like the whole reason behind it. In a perfect world, I guess everyone would be on Windows, but that's not the world we live in. Like, perfect for Microsoft, not in general. Like, but I guess Microsoft wants more users, but they have a ton of PC users. It's going to bring them onto the Cortana platform. My defense for this is, do people complain that Google has Google Drive on iPhone, or that they have their services on something? No, they don't put it on Windows devices.
But that's only because Android will always be number one because of its fragmentation and its the fact that any OEM can have it for free technically.
But that's what I mean is I just don't see people make the same argument. Like, I get where they're coming from. You want to sell Windows Phone to your friends. I want to tell my friend, I like this phone. You should have this phone. It actually happened at a restaurant. I had a phone on the table, and the server was like, "Tell me you love that phone," and I was like, "Yeah, I actually do."
Yeah,
she's like, "I just got that
as well," and
I was like, "This is so weird. Like, it's not. I don't even know how to react to that. Are you being sarcastic? Are you trolling right now?" you want to tell your friends or your significant other or whatever. You say, "Oh, this is a good phone. This is why it's a good phone," especially when people knock it. And then but now you can't say, "Oh, this has Office." Well, so does this. Well, it's got Cortana, and so does this. Oh, it's got this. So I see that argument. I don't think that's the totality of the vision that Microsoft has.
There's a lot more to Windows 10 Mobile than the fact that it has Office and Cortana. Right. There's a lot more to it. It's if you're an iPhone user and a Mac user, if you're an Apple user, Apple users know this more than anybody else. Having a device from the same company in your pocket and on your desk is the best. It's with the whatever handoff I think it's called for Apple. Being able to just write an email and then send it to your to your desktop and just continue it on your desktop is convenient, and being able to have similar apps running on both. I mean, I know the development thing for that is completely different, and Universal is way better on Windows than it will be on Mac. But Mac has the idea of it already, so Apple users are already sort of experiencing this whole unified experience between their phone and their desktops. And with Windows 10, this is where Microsoft will be positioning Windows 10 and Windows 10 Mobile, with that synergy of being the same experience here and the same experience on your desktop, being able to have the same universal app here and being able to have the same universal app on your desktop. That's where they will position Windows 10 Mobile, and that's where they hope to grab users' attention.
Right. Well, and then additionally to all of that, which are tremendously valid points, exclusivity is not the reason people buy phones a lot of the time. Because if you say, "Oh, this is on that and I want it only on this," if you're looking at iOS and Android, a ton of the apps are on everything. Like for those operating systems, there aren't a ton of things that they could look. There are, I'm sure. I'm not on both those platforms anymore, so I'm sure our comments could point out things that are exclusive. But a lot of the things aren't exclusive. Like apps, a lot of the apps aren't exclusive because they're going to be on iOS and Android. And people don't buy a phone. I like Windows Phone because of the layout. I mean, I know that might sound weird. I hope I'm not the only one in the world. I like live tiles. I like the layout. I like how smooth it is. It's a nice looking phone. I like how colorful it is. Maybe those are like low level, non-power user reasons to have a phone. But I'm not a power user. I like my phone because it looks like my laptop. That's why I got a Windows Phone. I like my Surface Pro 2, and I said, I really like these live tile things. And then my friend had a Windows Phone and was like, "Do you like that?" And he was like, "Yeah, just make sure that it has the apps you personally want, and then it's fine." And I was like, "Okay." And then I got one. I did a bunch of research. That's how I actually found WinBeta, basically, is kind of tying into that. And then it was like, okay, I like this layout. Hopefully, it's going to have the apps in the future, and the main thing that you're going to be choosing between is the platform you're on and the layout. It's not going to be about Office or Google Drive or that sort of thing. I think this is a really good thing. I think people just like getting angry.
Well, you mentioned about live tiles. I know many users who use Windows Phone simply because of the UI and how beautiful the UI is.
Yeah, I like the UI of Windows Phone. If Windows Phone had every app, I think more people would be on it because the UI is pretty.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And there's a lot of information on my screen. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like a crowded screen with all the info. I love that I can pick up my phone and see latest tweet, email there, here's what it says, there's my WhatsApp, I can see there, weather, great, all that stuff without opening apps. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I think Cortana, to get back to our original point, being on other phones is going to give them a taste and then probably make them look into a Windows Phone, even if they don't buy one. They'll probably look at it. They'll say, I actually find myself using Cortana. What else would I get if I got a Windows Phone that would help me integrate it with my other Windows devices? And some people will switch.
You have to remember, Cortana on Windows 10 Mobile will always be the best Cortana. Whereas on Android and iOS, it's simply an app that you can download from the store, meaning it's contained in its own area within the operating system, so it can't really reach out and do any system functions in a sense. So it'll be a lot more native to the operating system on Windows 10 Mobile, and it'll be much more like an app on other platforms. I have
an ad idea for Cortana. It's product placement. They get a big action film, like San Andreas. Like, I don't know how good that is because I haven't seen it, but it's big budget. It's got The Rock, who's, big manly action star. You have him and he's like running around saving the day. And then like his wife or girlfriend or daughter or like son or whatever is there and is like has their foot trapped under rubble and they just can't reach their phone and they're reaching and they just can't get to it. And then they go, oh, I have a Windows phone. And the highest end one, and you go, hey, Cortana, call the Rock. And then it's like, bam, there's the Rock. And it's like, Dad, save me. I'm trapped. And he's like, how'd you even call me? And he's like, because I have a Windows phone.
Why don't Microsoft hire you as their marketing
I don't know,
executive?
man. I just think for all I know, other phones have passive listening, but most people watching that movie wouldn't know that at the time. They'd be like, "That's pretty cool," or blatant, obvious product placement like Bing in The Amazing Spider-Man. But whatever. I still think it'd be a good ad.
It would be. That sounds like a wicked ad. Wicked.
It's what was that? What was it? You could have like a fake commercial. What was that movie where the guy got his arm trapped under a rock and he had to cut it off with like a Swiss Army knife? Yeah, he could just have like a Windows phone, just like right over there. And he's like, whoa, why am I doing this? Hey, Cortana.
Yeah, because Hey Cortana, I imagine, won't be a thing on Android and iOS.
I know it won't work on Android. They specifically said that.
I doubt it would work on iOS as well. So
iOS seems to kind of work a little
unless
different.
iOS 9 allows you to switch out Siri for another personal assistant. I
doubt
think
they
that
would
happen.
do that.
No, me neither.
No. So yeah, Sean's a millionaire. Microsoft, send me a check. It's a bit late for San Andreas because that movie's already done.
Yeah.
But maybe for the next one. Pacific Rim 2?
You never know.
You could have the robots powered by Cortana.
Watch in about a year when we see an advert and it's very similar to this description you gave. And then you're like, hang on a minute.
I'd be like, hey, royalties, please. Thank you. Well, that's the biggest news. We've got a couple other things.
Breaking news, guys. Sort of. Wazza has screenshots of build 10,130 and he will be, quotes, posting them soon.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So right after the podcast and the after party, go check out those.
Not. Yeah.
What?
No, I'm just saying. Guess
Don't
what?
leave now.
Guess what?
What?
The Microsoft Band 2 is apparently almost here.
Well, you just got one. You must be really excited.
Yeah,
There's a second one after you dropped 100 quid.
Like a month ago, I got a new Microsoft Band, and guess what? There's a new one coming next month. Apparently, according to rumors, this isn't official.
I laugh because it's sad.
Yeah. So this, I bet if it does come this month, I bet they'll release it in the US first, and then 7 months later release it in the UK. So we're always half a year behind.
I'm going home for Christmas, Zach, and if there's a Microsoft Band 2 in the States, but not here, I'll go get you one. We could figure this out. Yeah. Well, you're paying for it, but I'll bring it. We'll have a live podcast next to each other where we open up Christmas gifts.
We could totally do that.
Yeah. I'd love to go down to London. No, I'm going to be in America for Christmas.
Yeah, we could do it over Skype.
We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll do something. Yeah, so there's a Band 2 rumored. This is my story, yeah?
Yes. Yes,
okay. There's a Band 2 rumored, and it's supposed to be thinner, better, all around good. And it's rumored that it could be out as soon as next month, though that seems a bit aggressive. I don't know. I don't think it'll be next month. But then again, they kind of dropped the band the first time on us where it was like, hey, by the way, there's a band coming. And then it was like, oh, yeah, it's already in stores. It's going to be on the shelves tomorrow. And so that kind of happened the first time. So I guess they could do that again. It says winfuture.de via Windows Central said that the Microsoft Band 2 is already well into its development stage. Microsoft, being a feedback-driven company now, is expected to address many, if not all, the lingering issues with the first band, namely its bulkiness, the easily scratchable screen, and the poor battery life. I don't think poor would be the right word to describe battery life. Better than a smartwatch, worse than a Fitbit would probably be how I'd describe it. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good, but not great, right?
No, I mean, I'm used to it now, so I'm frequently glancing at my wrist and stuff.
I don't know. They also suggest that Microsoft, that's WinFuture DE. Is DE Germany? Is that how that is? I don't know what the .de is. I don't know what country that is. Anyway, looking to launch the band with the launch of Windows 10. So the wearable may end up running a version of Windows 10. And then we put in parentheses Windows 10 IoT, maybe? I don't know. I have no idea what operating, because right now it runs like this hodgepodge non-Windows operating system, yeah?
It runs...
It's like a special operating system.
Everything.
Good job, Zach.
It runs... I also can't hear you because I've unplugged my headphones.
Good job, Zach.
I think it's a Silverlight thing. I'm sure I read somewhere it's Silverlight.
So it's not like Windows 8 minimized or something like that.
No, it's not It's definitely not Windows. It's not Windows.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Is like, so the new one could run Windows 10, which would make sense, though everyone would have to then redo their apps. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would suck. Oh well, could be out. I think if it's going to come out with Windows 10,
I doubt very much the new band will have Windows 10.
Let me put it this way: I don't think it's coming out next month, but it could because they dropped it quickly last time. If it's coming with Windows 10, I think they'll probably wait until after RTM, but who knows? And we will see what operating system it runs. I would love it to run Windows 10 IoT, but who knows?
Yeah.
Have you scratched your screen yet?
Well, no, I haven't. I've still got the protect that come with it.
Oh, okay.
So
but you shouldn't have to.
It's slowly peeling off, though, as you might be able to see there. Hang on, wait.
Shouldn't have to have one of those.
But yeah, it's slowly peeling away. It's very good. I mean, it's protected my screen. I mean, if I pull that off, that's still a perfect screen. So, is it
bulky to you after you use it for a while?
No, not anymore. I don't even notice it anymore. I just use it. I can even type with it. I don't have to take it off. I know many people take theirs off when they type because it gets in the way. I don't even take mine off.
Like a rebel. I think a band too. This wasn't supposed to be like a major production product. They were supposed to be announcing it's poor Microsoft. They're like, we want to be a software company. And it's like, yeah, but we like all your hardware. Can you make more of it?
God, just buy our software, please.
It's like, oh, we made a Surface just to show off what a 2-in-1 could be. Can you make like 1 billion of those? We made a Microsoft band, so hopefully people like Jawbone and Fitbit will be on our fitness platform. Oh, could you just make like a second one? It's like, guys, that's not our... Poor Satya Nadella, he's over there like, I just want to be a software company. Like,
what is it? Mobile first, cloud first. That's his motto, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Mobile first, cloud first. People want hardware.
I still don't know what that means. What does mobile first, cloud first mean?
I don't know. I think it's about people being mobile, not phones being mobile. You hear that. They say people are universal, not devices. I think they use that mantra.
I don't even know. I thought it meant Windows Phone's the best, and the cloud's the best. So that's what I thought it meant.
I don't think that's like what they're saying. I think they're trying to say that eventually you will be able to log into devices, and it will be your device no matter where you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be universal, and that's what the mobile, you can go wherever you want, and it will run your personal, because right now if I pick up my girlfriend's tablet, it doesn't feel like mine, because it's personalized towards her. And so the idea would be that you could easily, bam, iris scan, now it's Sean, it's got his everything, but just between every device, no matter where you went. I think that's what they're going for. That sounds right. That sounds like a good plan.
That's the future.
Well, we'll see. I mean, iris scans are coming.
Windows Hello is coming, so
that's true.
The future in which this is your computer.
That's true. I would love to get to a point where cash points or ATMs for our American listeners. You just like, and it's like, Sean, would you like to withdraw some money? And you're like, yeah, I would.
I just use that even if I didn't want to withdraw money. Just walk up and go, would you like to withdraw money? No, I'm just here to see if you recognize me. I'm still amazed.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Yeah, mobile first, cloud first.
I can't wait till everything becomes voice activated. So when you actually go up to an ATM and you ask for, and it says, "Would you like to withdraw money?" You have to say yes. And it goes, "How much would you want?" And you don't want to like let anyone know that you're rich. So you go, £500,000, please. How much is that? Would you speak up, please?
What cash point are you going to where you withdraw or what bank account are you using?
It's the future.
Is that the WinBeta bank account?
It's the future. It's bigger on the inside.
Oh, is it? Okay. It's like in Batman Beyond. There's like credits, like a card has like a amount on it. There
or in the future, money is time from that film Time, which was apparently really good. I never really saw it.
Yeah. Let me see
Justin Timberlake.
I'm trying to think other things that you could use. I mean, I just think when you get in the future. That's what I was going to say. with voice, I actually wish that you could enter in text to more things that want you to do voice activation. If you typed into Cortana, when I get to my girlfriend's house, remind me to, buy flowers, or I guess at that point it'd be too late. But you know what I'm trying to say. If it was like when I leave my house, remind me to get flowers. If I type that instead of saying it, does she actually do it?
Give me a second, I'll tell you. Remind me.
Because I'm pretty sure you have to say it, which is a bit irritating. I'd like a personal assistant I could type into and talk to.
Nope, you can type it and it absolutely gives you the reminder option.
Then they should definitely, yeah. Then then at the ATM or cash point, you would be just fine.
Yeah.
So that's that.
One more story of the week. What was you saying, Sean? Sorry, I was completely cut you
No,
off.
I just Cortana, iOS, Android, Band 2, what's now? Continue. Yeah, go ahead, your story.
The rumor roundup, which I can't open. Why isn't it open, please? Oh, no, it's there, never mind, it's already open. So guess what? There was a bunch of different rumors this week about the upcoming Windows 10 for phones. I'll call it, oh good lord. Windows 10 mobile flagship.
Yeah.
Supposedly going to support USB-C, Windows Hello, Continuum, and more. So this phone will be the phone you want if you're a Windows user. It will have great specs, which I believe are not in this story, so I can't actually reference them. But it's rumored to have USB Type-C, which is apparently a requirement for Windows Continuum. So that's the whole Windows phone on a big screen acting like...
Well, I don't think it's a requirement. I think it would be easier because it might also work wirelessly.
Oh,
which
yeah,
would tell me.
So if it was something you were doing with a wire, you'd need USB-C.
Yeah, but it would be smoother. Let me get you the specs there. I brought that up for you.
Okay, so you can mention them.
There's 2 rumored devices. I think this article, is it specifically referring to the smaller one?
Yes, the City Man.
Okay. No, CityMan's the bigger one.
Okay, Talkman.
Talkman. The Talkman, 5.2-inch QHD screen, 3 gigabytes of RAM, 6-core or hexacore, as they like to say, Snapdragon processor, 32 gigabytes of storage, 20 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front-facing camera, 3,000 milliamp removable battery. Yeah, the Continuum, Windows Hello. We have more rumors out that say that it might have iris scanning. It might it's all sort. We have more rumors today kind of verifying some of these specs as well. I did a story on that today. So yeah, like you said, this will be the device everyone wants from Windows. It's going to have a lot of specs. And it might also be like the first one with Continuum, right?
Yeah, it should be the first one with Continuum, I imagine. And I'll definitely be buying one, hopefully, later this year. If they ever release it.
And to be fair, to be honest, the 5.7 one that's rumored, it's got an octa-core instead of a hexacore, and the battery's a little bigger at 3,300 milliamp hours, but otherwise they're very similar devices.
I mean, it's kind of like the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. The 6 Plus has a 1080p screen and the 6 doesn't. But yeah, I mean, they are technically the same thing. Sean's telling people to not come in.
Sorry.
They could have done that a bit more smoothly.
Sorry, I didn't realize my camera was right there. Don't come in. I'm in a live podcast.
But yes, I would definitely be buying one of these new Lumias. I hope they don't give it a number. I want it to be
Lumia Surface and Lumia Surface XL. Pen support.
I want it to be a word. I don't want it. The Icon was a nice name for a Lumia device.
I don't know if they'll ever use Surface in the phone line because I don't. But yeah, no, I think it would be. I thought Icon was cool.
They will go for 940 because Microsoft is so predictable, and they'll go 940 and 940 XL, the new Lumia flagships, and then you tell your friend, "Oh look, the new Lumia flagship, the 940." And they're like, "Why is it called the 940?" And you go, "I have no idea."
Why is it? Yeah, I don't know. Why are people cool with the iPhone 6? Because there's only one. It's like iPhone 1, 2, 3, 3, 6.
It wasn't even that. It was the iPhone 3G, the 3GS.
Oh yeah. So is it because there's only one and the Lumia lines? There's so many phones, it gets confusing.
Yeah, I mean, you've got millions of Lumia phones. You've got like the 620, 630, 640 now, the 520, the 530, the 535, the 540. You have many devices. I mean, the idea is kind of simple, and I think we talked about this before on the podcast, before it was video. But it kind of goes. The first number is the high or low end. So the lower the number, the lower the end of the phone. The second one is the version of the phone. So 1, 2, 3, being, or I think it started with, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So the second number being, if it's a 2, it's the second generation of that low or high end, and then the last number is a modification to that phone. So the Lumia 4, so the Lumia 530 and the 535. I say modification. The 535 is completely different from the 530. But yeah, so I think that's how it works. So
I did that whole article on breaking down the latest Lumias, and obviously I had to do a lot of research, and there are a lot, and it's hard to keep them all straight. And the other thing is they get released at different times. So the Lumia 640 and 640 XL might have specs and features better than the 735 because they're independently developing. So the 600 line develops at a different rate than the 800 line.
Yeah.
Which develops different than the 900 line. So the 830 had some specs that you might say, oh, this is better than the 930, such as a glance screen. But then it didn't have some, but the camera and some of the other features weren't as good. And so it is confusing. I don't know what they're going to do in the future. I do think words would fix it, but then they would have to have everything be words, right?
I mean, they can start with the high end, because the 940 should be the next Lumia released. They could have that as the first worded Lumia and then go down from there.
What if they named them after popular superheroes?
Superman.
Well, no, the icon is a superhero. You could have, that'd be cool. You could have, what's this? The Lumia Thor?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
The Lumia, you could have the Lumia Superman.
They're probably going to run into a bunch of different copyright issues, though.
No, they'll make it with them.
Oh, it's a Superman.
And then instead of in a Rock movie, you can have, the Rock might be Green Lantern. So instead of San Andreas, you could have the Rock as the Green Lantern having someone yell, "Hey, Cortana," into their phone, and then he saves the day.
Yeah, Oblivifrex says the flagship Lumia will be called Lumia 1. Imagine if they did that. So they've technically stuck to the numbering system to just mess it up even more. It's the Lumia 1. It's number 1, even though it's lower than the 435. God, that'd be so terrible. Please don't do that, Microsoft. If you're listening, do not call it Lumia 1.
They could just go with the nickname Talkman. This is the Lumia Talkman.
The Lumia
Talkman and Cityman.
The Lumia 10 for Windows 10.
Oh, yeah, but then you'll have to have a Lumia 11 and there won't be a Windows 11.
Yeah, Lumia 10.1. Lumia Redstone.
Lumia the Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, man. Just use him in an ad. It'll sell Windows phones. Anyway, is that it for news?
I think that might be it for this week. A little bit longer than usual, the podcast. But
is it? Still about an hour.
It's about an hour, yes. But
yeah, people want it a little longer. Oh, before you close up, can I say one thing?
Oh, yes.
We have polls now, which I will be incorporating into the articles that we post up with the Join Us and the podcast itself. The first one's feedback. We really appreciate it because it has things like how can we improve it? What do you like? What tone do you like? And then I purposely made it where you can type in your responses. I don't know if you can see those, but I certainly can. And so I've read them. At the moment, only 6 people have done it. One of them refers to the after party in Ducks, and the other ones kind of are mostly, some of them are kind of jokes right now because only 6 people. So we have a lot of people listen to this podcast, and a very small number are in the live stream. And so we'd really appreciate feedback just from everyone that listens to the podcast so they can kind of tell us how to make it better. And then in the future, we won't always do it that way. We'll also have polls like, what do you think they should name the new Lumia phone, or that sort of thing, more newsy related stuff. So anyway, check it out. It's in the Join Us. It's also in the post that will be put up tomorrow with the embeds as well.
So yeah, make sure you do that. As per usual, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter at winbeta.org, dots being DOT, on Facebook at facebook.com/winbeta.org. Where else can you find? You can find me at ZachB_ on Twitter, and you can find Sean at Twitter. What's your username?
At Sean_Michael_UK.
That's Sean_Michael_UK. And yeah, am I missing anything else? Have I forgot to announce anything else?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, like we said, give us feedback, let us know, join us next week, all that stuff, rate us highly, share with your friends, share, subscribe. That's what all the YouTubers tell people to do.
Photoshop us onto Ducks, etc., etc.
Whoa, that's for the after party.
Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, if you're listening to the rebroadcast, Ducks are a thing that we know and love, apparently. So
yeah,
thanks so much for watching, guys, and we shall see you in the listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.